What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers made a move last night that is very exciting if you are into reforming one chunk of an offense that, well, people have complained about and the coach for many, many years. Meanwhile, their head coach is under fire. And what he's under fire for might be the wildest thing I've heard in 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost Mike Tomlin and hired Mike McCarthy. And we'll finish it off with a little bit of Will Howard talk in a form of not Mike McCarthy, not wide receivers. There's somebody else out there who is a big believer in the Pittsburgh Steelers second-year quarterback, and I think it is very, very interesting. It's a good one here in the Berg. The snow is slowly but surely somehow possibly getting bigger, but melting, realistically melting. How you feeling, my friend? Hope you're staying warm.
Staying warm. Today was the first day I was able to get my car actually out of the driveway. We've been, hey, first world problems. We were down to one car. We couldn't even believe it. The fact that we got by, crazy. But I was able to finally take that sucker for a spin. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to explode the next time I turned it on. Doing all right. My back still hurts. Still have so much shoveling to do, but yes. Much like the Steelers, we all have lots of work to do still in the winter months.
It's very true. It's very, very true. Can I tell you something today that I am not super proud of, but also a little bit proud of?
Yeah.
I pulled out the chair today. I put it out. I said, I am so tired of coming home and having to find a spot that is shoveled out with snow. Is just not fun. I shoveled this spot out. This is my spot. And I put the chair down. Now, I put it back before my wife got home because I didn't know if it was a good chair. You know what I mean? I don't know what the good chairs and the bad chairs
are. It wasn't one from the dining room set.
I don't know. It wasn't. But I'm not going to, couldn't take a risk, but I did. Today, I broke out the chair. First time in my life that I became a real yinzer. This is the most yinzer I've ever been besides being called a jag-off for the first time, which was, that's an honor itself for sure.
Man, I tell you what, there's nothing. My wife and I were just talking about this this morning, actually. Like, when you work that hard to to shovel out the snow, and in our specific case, a foot of snow, you have earned the right to claim that spot for the day. I'm not sure, if our picnic pack viewers from other cities have the same issue or same phenomena, but man, it's my favorite winter pastime in Pittsburgh. More than the kids sledding down the hill, it's the good old Pittsburgh park chair, as long as you don't use the good dining room chairs.
I don't know what to use. I didn't know what to not use. All I knew is I had to put it back before 4 p.m. That had to happen. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody cares about the lawn chairs. They do care about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Made a move last night. Very exciting move, to be really honest with you. A position that the Steelers have lacked at coaching-wise for the last couple of years, and a group that is young, seemingly growing into each other and a group, and has a lot of promise for the future. The Pittsburgh Steelers spent a lot of time over the last couple of years developing their offensive line. It seems to be at a place where it's getting close to complete, and now they just hired Jari Evans, of the potential Pro Football Hall of Fame. A finalist, one of 15 this year to join Canton, Ohio, now comes to Pittsburgh to be the assistant offensive line coach. I think a fantastic move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. His resume as a player is the New Orleans Saints for nearly his entire career, the Green Bay Packers for a season, if that surprises you at all. He then spent the 2022 season coaching the New Orleans Saints as a preseason coaching intern, became an offensive assistant in 23, and then last year became their assistant offensive line coach. He joins Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh. Again, you talk about a group that the Steelers and their fan base have known needed to be improved over the last couple of years to, I think, put a name out there that's young, developing, but has a great resume as a player. I mean, pretty exciting to me. What's your thoughts on it's Jari Evans, and I'm terrible with names, but this one I think I got right at least 2 out of the 3 times I've said it.
I think you did great, man. Let's give it up for Noah and that pronunciation excellence. I think it's a great hire, and I think it points to this overall reinvestment, further investment into the offensive line. And you and I have talked so much over the past year about how this team needs to win from the inside out, so to speak, the offensive and defensive lines, how key that is going to be to get this organization to that next phase, that next status that they so desperately want to get to. And it's great, bringing in another familiar face, that trend of players, former players, coaches, staff members who already have previous connections and ties to Mike McCarthy. The trend continues here with Jari Evans. And I think you get someone who has not only an excellent Hall of Fame worthy career under his belt, he's a coach that's on the rise once again, and that seems to be a trend on the offensive side of the ball of this coaching staff. So I think it's a great hire. I think players like Troy Fautanu, players like Mason McCormick and Zach Frazier are going to benefit immensely working with Evans.
Yes, I agree. I think to have the perspective of a player while also having the perspective of an actual coach who has a good resume, who has experience coaching guys, I believe like Evans when he was now that's like, Mike McCarthy saying he coached Joe Montana, end of the career, not much going on there. But it's still to have the best of both worlds, I think helps these guys, especially helps the inside guys. You're bringing in a guard who gets to help Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick be better guards. I'm right there, right? He did play guard in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty positive. Mm-hmm. To have that come in here, I just think great move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hilarious how there's another tie to Mike McCarthy constantly. They don't come without them. But to add, I think another strike. I think the Steelers are hitting every one of them and doing pretty okay. And it looks exciting. So big move for the Pittsburgh Steelers last night. One that I think pays off in the long run. Let's talk about the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And look, people love to criticize Mike McCarthy and the Pittsburgh Steelers hire of Mike McCarthy. And I'm here for it. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers made the best call possible. I'm rooting for the guy. And I'm rooting for the guy because that introductory press conference, he made all of us say, all right, at least you got to give him a shot. At least at the end of the day, this guy's heart is in the right direction. Not everybody believes so. Emmanuel Echo, H-O, whatever.
A chow. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, who cares?
A chow.
Said this on his Speakeasy podcast, talking about McCarthy's emotions during his introductory press conference, saying, quote, "Stop all your crying. Not because it's not emotional, because I'm old enough to have watched Mike McCarthy's Cowboys presser. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you." He continued by saying, "McCarthy, you're a phenomenal actor. You deceived at the Cowboys press conference. If you remember the Mike McCarthy's Cowboys presser, you not finna fool me with all these tears." He added, I think that was it. I think that's it. He calls out his saying he watched every play, right?
He said he watched,
of the 2022 season before he showed up, or whatever it was, the 2021 season.
Yeah, and then 2019.
And then in the presser says, "Yeah, I definitely lied about that one." Here's my issue with this, okay? Sometimes you grab onto something and it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes you grab onto something and you're reaching a little bit, but again, this is entertainment at the end of the day. Sometimes you're Emmanuel H-O, Echo, Achow, and you're just saying, how do I stir the pot today in the just most aggressive way? How do I make that happen? How do I make absolutely zero sense whatsoever and then go after a man for the dumbest reason humanly possible? Mike McCarthy, for anybody who missed it, sat up in that podium and said, Pittsburgh is who he is. It's who he's always been. And you're telling me the man sat up there, couldn't get a word out, and immediately started crying, was like, yeah, you know what? This ain't real. Sometimes I get it. If he went up there and he said, look, I coached Joe Montana, I'd say, call him out. Let it know. You know what I mean? Let me know. No development there whatsoever. I was the reason Brett Favre was great. It wasn't. It's not the truth. Okay. But I'm the reason that, or I was born down the street and am bred a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Should cry. Yeah. I think that one adds up there. Again, it's more of the shout out of the day of the dumbest thing that we've heard in a while. I think this tops the list of like, what are we even talking about?
The note I wrote down was like, why so mean about it? Like, I don't, this is a guy who did not play for Mike McCarthy's Cowboys. Like, nope. was an analyst several years into his, media career at the moment Mike McCarthy took over for the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm wondering why such passion. I also, working in the theater myself for some time, I've seen an actor or two, and I would not describe Mike McCarthy as one at all. I be critical about, Mike McCarthy, the hire. Be critical about what he can bring. I wrote about this today too. This man wears, he has been a Pittsburgh guy even when he was the coach of Green Bay, right? Like, he has been a Yinzer, bleeding black and gold for his entire 62 years of life. The man just started his dream job. Let him be emotional. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, let's not retroactively apply it to a totally random situation and say we can draw some conclusions about Mike McCarthy's character off of it. Listen, I've been down on this hire more than you have this entire time, right? Like, I'm not excited about this. I'm excited about the newness of it and the challenge in front of the team. But like, why would I go so far as to be like, save your crocodile tears for something else because you're an actor here. This is all fake. It was hilarious. But cannot find the purpose underneath it.
There is no purpose underneath it. The purpose is like Stephen A. Smith talking on a daily basis. It doesn't make any sense. He's just got to do it. It's his job. His job's to say things, and he doesn't know. He's not informed enough. Again, it's the funniest thing you've heard in 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, the Steelers have done some crazy things, my friend. Crazy things. They hired a Hall of Fame finalist offensive line coach. They would never. They'd hire Pat Myers, and that's it. Shout out to
when the offensive line's really good in 2026. Are people going to say that it's really just Pat Myers' line that yes. Jerry Evans and James Campen inherited?
We are going to say that. We are going to say that, and we will always say that. Always. Always. Shout out. All right, let's talk about Will Howard, because this is fun. And I'm going to get deep on this, okay? This has been rattling the brain for a long time. I'll take you through my night as I learned it. I go out to dinner with my wife. My uncles are in town. We're hanging out, whatever. Get home. My uncles are coming over to the house tonight. They've never seen the house. So my wife, you know what I mean? First impression of a home is, I don't understand it, but everybody else seems to freak out about it. It's 9:00 at night. I'm in bed. My wife's going hard downstairs cleaning. Like, I hear things getting thrown around. It was nuts. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to bed. Okay. I'm pretty sure somebody's dying downstairs. And I start digging through my phone. What do I come upon? I come upon this. This is what Maxx Crosby had to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation on his podcast, The Rush. Quote, I think Aaron probably stays another year, but when you have a guy like Will Howard to sit there and learn another year behind Rodgers, and you have McCarthy locked in for 5 years, you let Rodgers get another year, and then you have Will Howard step in after that, sitting for 2 years, and then let him go and be the guy. Because I know some people have their opinions on Will Howard and this and that, I'm a Will Howard believer. I'm not going to lie. I think he's a hell of a player. My friend, I know that I'm Noah Strackbine. I completely understand who is making this statement and how sometimes you got to say the words, calm down. My brain immediately went, man, Maxx Crosby in Pittsburgh Steelers uniform just flashed into my mind for the first time ever. For the first time ever. Because I just don't understand why a guy who never went to Ohio State or played for Mike McCarthy or with Will Howard is such a strong believer in Will Howard. Unless he's the reason that the Las Vegas Raiders kept their defensive coordinator through 3 head coaches because they didn't want to get rid of the guy that Maxx Crosby wanted to coach him so badly. Where is that guy? He's in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization running their defense. And look where Maxx Crosby is, the worst team in the National Football League. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Just saying. It's just how I took it. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it means something. What's your thoughts?
My first thoughts are what am I not seeing? We talk about Will Howard so much, and I've gotten an up close look at him as well, talked to people about him, written about him a ton. We've talked about him forever. What does Maxx Crosby know that we don't know and that we're not giving him enough credit for? It makes me think. My head did not go where yours went, right? I love this rabbit hole that you are opening up for us in terms of this discussion. My head did not go there at all. I don't have a pushback for that. My immediate thoughts are like, what does he know as a premier defensive player? What is his little insight into Will Howard that I'm not accounting for? It makes me, it perks the ears up. Now, from a Steelers perspective, an organizational personnel perspective, I guess you're certainly sprinkling the seeds. You're laying the breadcrumbs of a trail here to maybe coming to the organization. But Patrick Graham aside, how do you make that work in any realistic way? That's immediately where my head goes to, is you have 3 premier edge rushers. You go acquire a 4th.
Yeah.
What do you do?
4.
What do you?
Oh, you have 3.5. 3 and
you got quality. You got quality and depth, and you go and add. Listen, positions of strength are great. How many edge rushers can you have on this team? Especially when I and many people are saying, why isn't Nick Herbig on the field more? Why isn't Nick Herbig, being given more of a chance? Let's put Maxx Crosby on the field and see how that goes. I'd love it. Love to see him in the black and gold. How do they make that happen?
I'll say I have 2 separate thoughts here. The first one is just straightforward. I don't think the Steelers are sitting here going, man, dude, you should tell the world that you're such a huge Will Howard fan. I think this is a Maxx Crosby thing. And I think this is just the beginning of a Maxx Crosby thing. Just the beginning of a Max maybe hinting at something as we move forward. Because maybe Max doesn't want to be in Vegas. Who the heck wants to be in Vegas? Maybe he wants to, explore some other options. He's just tossing that out there. He's just getting the ball rolling a little bit with a little bit of like something. 2, what would you have told me last year if I told you June 25th, man, Jalen Ramsey seems like he wants to come to the Pittsburgh Steelers? You tell me there's no room for Jalen Ramsey. Why would you go get Jalen Ramsey? Where are you gonna put him? The safety position? You got 2 of those. You can't go get another. All I'm saying is that I think it's very interesting. I don't want to start the rumor of like a Maxx Crosby for anybody, because I don't think that's where this conversation goes. I think that's way too premature in this in where we are. What I'm saying is, I think there was a purpose behind that comment, and I think if the Steelers wanted to get it done, they'd get it done. They'd get it done, because you're telling me Vegas wouldn't hand off a disgruntled Maxx Crosby for Alex Highsmith or TJ Watt? I think they would. I think they would.
I think the Jalen Ramsey example is great. Great and all, because I'm sure I said the exact same thing last summer.
We probably all
if we talked, whenever the conversation started, was like, why bring him in? Why waste the money? Stand by it. The only difference is, secondary was overall, maybe not safety specifically, but the secondary was an area of need for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, they were, if you told me they could get Jalen Ramsey last summer, the idea that they could improve their secondary and pass defense is realistic. You tell me Maxx Crosby is going to be on this team and don't give me a real explanation for what you do with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Jack Sawyer, and Nick Herbig. I cannot get past that question of like, well, how do you even?
What if you flip TJ for Max and just saved $5 million a year in 2 years?
I think you rearrange the chairs on the deck of the Titanic.
You think that TJ
it's a meaningless?
You think TJ Watt's as good as Maxx Crosby? I'm not going to argue that, but I'm just curious.
I'm not making any argument about who's better in that response. I'm saying trading one top premier defensive player for another is not the way to fix this organization and move them forward. It would make no difference. It does not matter. It does not matter until this offense gets to a better place. You can swap TJ Watt for Myles Garrett for all I care. Wouldn't make a difference in terms of this overall team and where they go.
I'd push back on that one. I'd say if the Pittsburgh Steelers ended up with Myles Garrett, this team might be very, very scary because they'd have the best edge rusher in football. They have the best edge rusher in football.
They've had the best. They've had the second best edge rusher at worst in football for this entire time, and their defense still sucks in the playoffs at or whenever there's critical moments. So
that part I agree with.
That's why I think it's kind of Patrick Graham's the savior. He gets guys he maximizes guys. That's the compliment that comes out right now. You're like, all of his defenses have been bad, and you're like, yeah, but he gets players to be better, which he does.
To be better. Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see.
I didn't mean to bring up the whole this like solves the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not where my brain went either. It stopped at Maxx Crosby is making a statement. Here it is. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason for this. It's got to be somewhere in the puzzle. Because there's no way that Maxx Crosby was just sitting around going, I don't know, man. That Will Howard guy, I freaking love that guy. That guy's freaking good. Not saying a word about Quinn Ewers. He's not out here praising Shedeur Sanders. He's just like, you want to know who's great? Will Howard. Haven't seen him throw a football once in my life. Fantastic quarterback. Think that guy's a stud. Like,
if it leads to the Steelers acquiring Maxx Crosby, great. You know what I mean? Like that was a great promo on Crosby's part.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I get lost in the logistics, man.
I think it's awesome that we view the NFL like differently. Like you take the logical always, it's got A plus B's got to equal C approach. And I sit here and I'm just like, this is all a game, bro. This is all a big game with just this is the 1%, dude. Just playing with toys. That's all they are. That's all it is.
You're so correct, man. You know what I mean? And you're right, because I get so frustrated in life, period, where I'm just like, no, it has to, like, this is how it makes sense. There's this step and then this step, result. You know what I mean? Like 1 + 2 = 3. That's this. Don't tell me 4 all of a sudden.
No,
like,
dude.
I don't get how we got to 4. And that's how I feel like the NFL is. There's so many times where you're like, you're telling me Maxx Crosby on his podcast set up a trade to Pittsburgh? What are you high right now, man? And then like a month later, we're gonna see 3rd round pick to Vegas for Maxx Crosby. And I'm gonna go punch myself in the face.
There's always a reason, man. Sometimes there's not. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just Noah being Noah, but there's always a reason. There's always a reason, man. All right, we'll stop talking Will Howard here, and we'll start answering everybody's questions. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of it, we'll start answering your questions. Toss them in the chat. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind All Steelers Talk comes black and gold apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
Alrighty. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. If you got questions, toss them in the chat. We're kind of dry on questions right now, so toss them in there. Let's answer a couple. Let's start with Artisanal Bully Kennel. Noah the Rumor has already been around since the Graham talk. He's the sole reason he's stayed with the Raiders. Come home, Max. Herbig or Highsmith with a third. I'm not trading Nick Herbig. And that's not we've had others who say Herbig. I'm not trading Herbig. He's the least tradable person on the Steelers defense right now, in my eyes. Him, Joey Porter Jr., Derek Harmon. Those are like three untouchables.
Correct.
To me.
Correct. Yeah. If you told me Highsmith and a draft pick for Maxx Crosby, I'm like, all right, I get it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a third, I'm like, okay, they're being aggressive. They're being real aggressive. You tell me Highsmith and a fifth for Maxx Crosby, I'm like, holy crap, you just took the Raiders for a ride and your defense got better. Nick Herbig is young. Yes, he needs a new contract. Like you're going up against this, but it's not going to be TJ Watt money or Maxx Crosby money. You are not going to spend another $40 million to extend per season to extend Nick Herbig. I don't understand. He seems to me, and maybe I have a higher valuation on him than others. And if so, fine. I view him as a critical piece of this defense and of the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward.
I very much so agree. I very much so agree. I think that Nick Herbig is a guy that is the future, and you carve out paths for him to be the future if need be, which actually leads us into Egyptian Cobb salad. Is it true Herbig wants out? So this is very interesting. Okay. I just saw this on Still Curtain from Braden Fajoko, who is becoming
very active.
Very active. It's a good way to put it. He said, quote, just talked with Nick. He doesn't care about the trade smoke. He's ready to just be viewed and treated as a full-time starter, whether it's in Pittsburgh or elsewhere. Pitt needs to decide what they want to do with that edge room. Nick Herbig is a starter. No more pitch counts. Man.
He is a starter.
He is a starter. Like, he should be a starter. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. I think Nick Herbig very much so enjoys Pittsburgh. Obviously, you change head coaches, it opens the door for everybody to leave. You don't have that loyalty that you had. But I have a hard time thinking Herbig really genuinely wants out of Pittsburgh. Like, I think he wants an opportunity. I also think that the Steelers need to explain to him that that opportunity is coming, and it's going to be there, and you're going to be the guy in Pittsburgh, whether it's this year or next year. You will be essentially number one, potentially 1B if TJ Watt stays, but you will be number one and you will be viewed as the future.
I hear you. And I think that is a totally fair, like, I do think he really enjoys it. He is a crucial part of the locker room, right? Like he's talk about it like a magnetic personality, right? Like very easy to talk to in the locker room. You can tell all of his teammates love him. I wonder for how long he is content with that though, right? Like he probably was told that, he was what, a third round pick, if I'm remembering correctly. So
yeah,
maybe not immediately is he given this like title of like, you are the next starter in this line of succession. But after his time as snaps as a rookie, you're like, this guy's talented. Year two, I think they're like, there's a bigger role for you here to take the leap. If you do it, he does it. Now they're probably telling him again, okay, you could be the future starter of this team. Enters year three, takes another leap. He looks like an undisputed starter. How do you tell that player again, maybe for the third time, at least the second time now, you got to wait for your turn? Like even if you do love the organization, you like the fit schematically, you have a great locker room presence, like how many years do you have to capitalize to be a number one and to possibly make a crap ton of money respectfully. So I think there is something to it where, like, I understand waiting your turn.
Yeah.
How long can we expect him to wait and be okay with it?
Okay, so I think this is a great conversation because there's a question that comes with that. Like, what do you do there? Herbig is the guy. We both agree Herbig's the guy. And if Herbig's the future at 23 years old, 24 years old, whatever he is, and you have to get him in there, what do you do? How do you create that space? Who do you get rid of? Who's the guy that's got to go? Because you can't say Nick Herbig as an organization is the guy that we're going to get rid of, of the three. You just can't do that. He's the only guy that looks like, the next 8 years are better and better and better instead of TJ Watt's out of the league in 8 years and Alex Highsmith is too, but maybe he gets closer. Either way, he's 28 years old. Like, who do you get rid of?
I'm talking out my reasoning here. So bear with me. Yeah. 3 months ago, I would have said Alex Highsmith easily. Now I think Alex Highsmith is probably the best value besides the obvious bargain that is Nick Herbig. TJ Watt's overpaid right now.
Yes.
There's no doubt about amongst that. Let's call it, doing quick math, $60 million they have invested per season in their outside linebacking room. $41 million of that is a little bit overinflated with TJ Watt. So Highsmith is younger, makes less. Herbig's emerging, makes so much less. Jack Sawyer, maybe he takes another year or two leap. I don't know. I think you have to have this conversation with him where it's like, we have to do this the right way, the Steelers way. We can't just like ditch the contract that TJ Watt has to make you the starter. But it's clear that you are the number one guy. I don't know how Omar Khan, Mike McCarthy, Patrick Graham would mediate that, but I think that there has to be an understanding that he is now there was the conversation in the cornerback room when Jalen Ramsey arrived of who was like riding shotgun, who was the top guy. Like, I think there has to be an understanding of like Nick Herbig is becoming that top guy. It's not a question of like it's going to happen down the line. We're talking about it happening currently.
And then you bench TJ, essentially.
I don't know. That's what I mean. Like you
start him, but you play him on a snap count. Like that's what you do. You pay the guy you pay $40 million.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you do that. That's a terrible move too. You know what I mean? Like there's no. I don't know what the true solution is.
I think honestly, the only one that you could get out of with the least amount of like it's probably a bad move, but it's the most justifiable, I guess, is Alex Highsmith. Is to just say like we could trade Alex. He's got trade value. He doesn't have this massive contract. He's got 1 year left on it. You have to acknowledge you're giving up your best edge rusher, but I think that's what you do. Like, and it's crazy because it makes no sense. But if that's what Herbig wants, you cater to Herbig. You have to cater to Herbig more than anybody else. Have to.
I agree.
We should dive into this next week for sure. Braden, get Shieldhouse in an office and give Will a season. Braden, if you were running the team, brother. If I was running the team. Like
Will Howard would be my starter.
Yeah, Will Howard wouldn't be the starter. But I'd get Shieldhouse. I'd get Shieldhouse all day.
Hell to the yes.
Yeah.
And you know what convinces me even more that Nathan Shieldhouse would have been a good coach is that he looked at what was going on with the Cleveland Browns and how probably hot on his trail they were and trying to get him to, over the finish line. And he was like, is it a pass? No. So that tells me this man's got foresight and this man's got wisdom, even in his youth, in his 30s. I would have been great with this suggestion from Braden simply for the fact that it would have represented ginormous change for the organization. And I would have loved to have seen how that played out, regardless of outcome.
Yeah. Me too. Irresistible fan. Read the same article on Crosby. Could one of our edge rushers or Crosby replace Patrick Queen? Nick Herbig could replace Patrick Queen. He shouldn't. He's a good edge rusher. But, man, all it took was one play on the inside for everybody to go, that was cool. You should do that again. You should. That was a good time, actually. You should try that one.
You know what is one thing that I maybe believe Patrick Graham can get the Pittsburgh Steelers defense to do is just find different ways to utilize those outside edge rushers. If you're not going to move on from one, you cannot just have him Nick Herbig showing up on the inside 3 times, right? Like you have to get creative. You have to actually find ways truly to have all 3 on the field in a lot of situations, not just every once in a while.
Yes, I agree. Especially to replace Patrick Queen. However, you can't do that. We were diving into, and there's a question here about the inside linebackers. We're going to get to it. We were diving into the inside linebackers last night, and it was interesting, my friend. It was interesting. Rival I try to avoid buying jerseys because every time I buy one, the player leaves immediately after I bought a ball jersey. He left. I bought a brown jersey. Oh, a Bell jersey, excuse me. He left. I bought a brown jersey. We all did. Bad timing. He left. I got a Watt jersey for Christmas. Follow the trend. That's a tough one. And I hope that you might be like pushing this. Like, hey, like, yeah, I have a jersey. Get rid of them right now. We'd like somebody else. That's tough, man. That's tough. You got to wait till like they're right at the end. Watt's a good one because no matter what, TJ Watt in Pittsburgh will always be remembered as TJ Watt in Pittsburgh. Like he's a Steeler. Even if he went and played 3 seasons somewhere else, he's a Steeler.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Go.
Not a lot of great guys to invest your jersey money in right now, I'd say. I think you got maybe a couple offensive linemen. Derek Harmon is going to be around through the duration of his rookie contract. I feel pretty confident in saying outside of that, I mean, you're taking nobody. You're risking that 100+ buckaroos. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much they cost.
It's a tough time. Chris, guys, I don't understand why we rushed to hire McCarthy. Shula and Shieldhouse were available a few days later. What am I missing here? It had nothing to do with Shula and good old Shieldhouse. That's what we're missing. That was all McCarthy. All McCarthy. They wanted him. They got him. Art Rooney fell for him. He's the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. I don't think it was rushed. I think that notion gets tossed around there. I don't think it was rushed, but I do think that I would have gone differently. That being said, it had nothing to do with anything. You're not missing anything. It's clear. It's just what's in front of us. They wanted good old Michael McCarthy from down the road. Him in his chair in the snow, having a good time. Max, Alex Highsmith and a 3rd-round pick for Maxx Crosby. I'd give Alex Highsmith and a 5th-round pick for Maxx Crosby.
Agreed. That's you throw a 3rd in there. And I talked about this on Puntori's playbook too. Like you can find a starter in the 3rd round. You know what I mean? Like you can get a good player. This last 2 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers might disagree with that sentence. But the 3rd round does produce really good NFL players, especially when you have a strong scouting department and you're able to evaluate talent efficiently and effectively.
Yeah. Shout out. The Raiders aren't good at that. The Raiders are not great on that. Artisanal Bully Kennel, I hear you, but rumor is Herbig wants starting job or out. We hold no hostages. Win now mentality, Noah. These new edges are built like Garrett now. I think so. But I think Nick Herbig's a starting edge rusher in the NFL. I think he's really good. I think he's just getting started. I think you'd be losing something to get rid of him. I also highly doubt that it was. Look at Braden Fajoko is crushing it at what he does. But Braden Fajoko also is like trying really hard to cause drama. You know, like that's his niche right now, is to be a hot take machine and to kind of push that narrative and get people fired up. So do I think that Nick Herbig was sitting there going, yeah, I got to be a starter. Like I got to be. There's no way I'm staying in Pittsburgh if I'm not a starter. I'm going right to Omar. I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I think he wants to be a starter because he understands he could be a starter, but I don't think he's hostile about the situation. I think Fajoko's making it sound like he's hostile about the situation. I've never even seen a hostile Nick Herbig. The man's from Hawaii and he's the chillest human being alive. He smiles at all times. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless, do you feel different? Like, I just feel like this is not a hostile
No.
situation. It's just being presented as one.
What if he was asked the question, do you want to be a starter? And he was like, yeah, I'd be a starter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't you like I don't like, there's a lot of maybe context of the conversation that we don't get because we get a snippet of it via his tweet, right? So like, who knows the depth of the conversation, what they all were talking about. I highly doubt, to Noah's point, that he was like, you know what, I'm reaching my breaking point here with the Steelers. If I don't get to be a starter soon, I'm just going to one out. Like, because to be blunt, no one says that in any sort of way that can get, even if it's supposed to be behind closed doors and it gets out, like it's not. No one talks like that.
Yeah. I agree. Tennyson, stop it. Herbig too small. Them double teams start coming like Watt get, and he will be the next Juju when Antonio left. I never fell for the small thing. I really don't. Like, do I think that Nick Herbig is a one? Nah, I don't know. Not yet. Not yet. But do I think he's a starter? Yes. But I don't think everybody's a TJ Watt. I don't. I think that there are a lot of really good edge rushers who never became TJ Watt. And I don't think the small thing's ever gotten to me. Like, I don't think I've ever fell for it because he just proves constantly that he's really good. He's even pretty good at run defense for a guy his size. He's not Alex Highsmith, but he's capable for sure.
Yes, I think he's a starter. I am beyond confident that he is a starter. Is he an elite all-pro multiple year outside edge rusher? I doubt it. But like, no, that's not the expectation. That's, you know what I mean? Like, and if that is the only expectation, Steelers 1 out of 22 starters hit it this past season.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Egyptian Cobb salad. I know everyone wanted Flores, but I like Graham. I also like Patrick Graham. I'm a big fan of the hire here. I'm a big fan of his staff, most of it so far. I think Mike McCarthy's winning the staff hires so far. I really do. Like, I think he's out here doing some good work.
Yes, I'm leery about just like how incestuous it feels, like,
yes,
like
for sure.
There's not a hire here who didn't play for him or work for him extensively. And I love the idea of like, me, I got my gang all with me and got all my boys jobs, and if they're all the best men and women for the job, then like, I don't give two shits. But I'm leery about that all. Overall, I feel like there have been solid hires so far. I think I gave it a B the other day. I think I'm right around there too. Offensive coordinator can really bump it up or take it down.
Yeah, agreed. LKZ, I love TJ, but it makes too much sense not to trade him. I would hate it, but the haul for him would be amazing still. We could also just find a way to get all our guys on the field. That's tough because you got 4 edge rushers, probably 5 when Maxx Crosby shows up. That's tough. That's a lot of edge rushers. That's a lot of edge rushers. I really didn't think the conversation was going to go to trading TJ today. I did not see this coming at all.
The only thing I'll push back on LKZ's comment here is I don't think you can get a haul for TJ Watt right now.
No, I think you get a third and change. Like, I think that's what you're getting. I think you can get a desperate team that gives you a second. I do think you can get a desperate team that gives you a second. But I don't know if you want to do that to TJ.
Yes, there's very much a decorum here with how the Pittsburgh Steelers operate. Like, and I genuinely think that would be a factor in how this is decided down the line, whenever that time comes.
Yeah.
Well, what team do you think would be desperate enough that actually needs an edge rusher to be productive that would also be willing to give up a second round pick? Like, I think a bad team would maybe give up a second round pick, but
the team that got hurt, the team that lost, the team that like loses their star edge, the Houston Texans who lose Danielle Hunter in training camp. You know what I mean? Like, that's who you're getting a desperate team for. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I see your point.
The Jets aren't the Jets aren't giving up a set. Maybe they are, but you're not doing that to TJ. I would be upset that the Steelers did that to TJ. I'd be like, look at guys, there's a thing here. We're just don't. That's a no. That's just not. It's not a nice thing to do. It's really not. Smooth like. Nice. Can Nick Herbig be a hybrid in this new system? I don't think so. He's never really been like a hybrid. He played one snap. If you ask Jim Wexell, he could be. I don't agree. Yeah, I'd have to like see it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't think that Patrick Graham's system is going to be drastically different. I think the plays are going to be different. I don't think the setup is going to be drastically different from what it was with Tomlin.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree. I'm curious. I have not done a deep dive into like the types of defensive coverages and alignments that he tends to call and use. So I'm curious to see what that is. And then I'd probably have a more informed opinion about Nick Herbig. But like what I was going to say is that Nick Herbig, yes, did line up in the middle a couple of times, but he was doing only what an edge rusher would do in those situations, which is either blitz or disguise a blitz to throw off the quarterback.
Yeah, agreed. Andrew, great content, California lifelong Steelers fan. I believe if we do not give Howard a chance, we are stepping on our own toes. Give him a shot.
He might get it.
You know, and again, 2026, I'll toss that, you know, a little positive Noah action going on here. A little bit positive.
Yeah, I do.
If this was a year ago, Will Howard was on this team, we'd be going into the season saying there's no chance he's gonna start because they're gonna draft a quarterback in the first round. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be such a great class. And then it just slowly died right in front of our eyes. Painfully. It sucked. It was you held on for so long just to let go and watch it evaporate. And you never know if that's going to happen. You never do. So you got to keep the optimism. You'll never know. But it won't be this year unless Aaron says no. But I don't think Aaron's going to say no. We'll see.
Oh, God. Fine.
Juice, don't buy current players. Stay with throwbacks. You want to know my favorite jersey that I own?
Tell me.
Roy Williams, the wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. Yeah. Easily my favorite.
He played for the Cowboys?
He did for a minute. Yeah, he did. I am with the Lions. He's a stud. Hit that and Julius Pepper's rookie jersey. Devin Hester's rookie jersey too. Yeah.
Julius Pepperwood from Chicago.
Julius Pepperwood from Chicago.
I'm from Chicago. Dish Pizza from Chicago. I have a Dermontti Dawson.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
that is a great one.
And I actually credit to my wife gave it to me for, I want to say like either an anniversary or something like that, or a birthday or something like that. Cool. Shout out. My wife's the best.
Shout out. Duff, why are we letting Big Mistake just to bring in all his old buddy? Big Mistake. Yo, didn't even catch on to it.
So my parents called me.
Why are we letting Big Mistake just bring in all his old buddies that just screams no new strategy or integration to his coaching evolution? I mean, it's going to be new either way, whether this is the Packers of 2018 or not. This is going to be new some way or another. It does. Look at it. You're not wrong. Like, this is not a wrong state. It gives everybody a little bit of like cringe to be like, stop, just stop. Like, just anybody that you don't know, meet someone new here, Mike. Just meet anybody new. That would be really nice.
Yeah. You know, I agree 100%. I don't think the same criticism would apply if they hire Scott Tolzien as their offensive coordinator, right? Like, yes, played for him. It's part of the McCarthy network, the McCarthy web, but like, this is a coach who has worked in intimately with the sort of newer developments of the NFL, which is part of what Mike McCarthy is trying to, as he said in his introductory press conference, he's trying to assemble a staff that has some, younger minds. And I think having a guy like Scott Tolzien, even if he falls under the category of playing for him and having that connection, it's a little bit better than just bringing in like James Campen, who has had a ton of success, but is also like a 3 decades worth of experience in the NFL, has been fired a bunch of times. Like it's not, Scott Tolzien at least has been just like a coveted coach at each sort of stop he's had.
McCarthy says that's what he's looking for. Young, inexperienced. Judah Wells was sitting there going, damn it. Thought it was going to be me.
Young, dumb, and full of football knowledge.
Heck yeah. Howard, y'all doing? Cap space updates. More money for fun. Yeah. Did you see that it jumped $25 million? It's going to be anywhere from 301 to 305, somewhere in that ballpark.
Mr. 305. Are you kidding me right now?
305. Don't ever tell my wife that. That's her.
Oh,
it's her favorite human in the world. It's a good old Pitbull. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah.
Gives it even more cap space.
You want to know my first thought with the cap space that I saw today? Yeah. George Pickens about to get paid, brother. George Pickens about to earn that bag, though. Shout out to Georgie. You know what I mean? Shout out to Georgie. You're welcome, my friend.
That franchise will be the quickest feeling of buyer's remorse ever felt by a team in free agency. Yeah. They're going to sign that deal. They're going to watch George do it. The ink will dry, and they're going to be like, oh, why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we do this?
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. Azah? Yeah. If you're starting quarterback money, you need to bring if you get starting quarterback money, you need to bring quarterback value. He's our oldest, least productive, and most expensive. Love TJ, but when it's time, it's time. Kind of sounds like a dog getting put down. Jeez Louise. Look, I wouldn't say the Steelers made a huge mistake if you traded TJ Watt. I also don't think it's a mistake to keep TJ Watt. I think it's a really tough decision, and you got to trust your gut on it. And I'll tell you that I don't think that they're going to. I just don't think TJ Watt is involved in conversations that like the rest of the team has no idea about. Like TJ Watt knows things before anybody but Cam Hayward on that team. And I just don't, it doesn't give me we're trading you vibes. He'd find out before anybody else. He'd find out before the trade happened. They'd be like, wait, we're going to trade TJ Watt. He'd be like, what did you just say to me? Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah. I'm TJ.
I'm TJ. I don't think it's going to happen. Again, I'm not like, I don't think there's like a bad argument either side, but I also don't think there's like a great argument either side. I think it's a really tough call.
Like a horse that's run its final race. It's time to put him down.
Yikes, Maddie. Still anti-Will. Why? Mobile, younger, and can move. I'll say this. I am still anti-Will, but I'm not anti-Will in playing Will. I'm anti-Will in my belief that Will's going to prove me wrong. But I think the Steelers should play Will Howard. I think you should put him out there. Say, why not? Why wouldn't you do it? I also made a to-go today about how the Steelers have certainly set this boy up for success. And they might do it more with Scott Tolzien. Like, shout out to what they've done for him, because biggest winner might be Will Howard, honestly.
Agreed. I'm not anti-Will. I want him to succeed. I just don't think he will. There's a difference.
No, yeah, for sure. Artisanal Bullet Kennel. One name, Anthony Lucas in the 4th round.
Is that George Lucas's son? That can bring us some. We can get some Star Wars out of this.
Anthony Lucas. See, I don't watch Star Wars, so I didn't even know that reference.
That's why I said the movie name after I said that.
That's what I needed. That's what I needed to do there.
Lucas.
Oh, he's the USC D end. I actually know who this is. I
was watching middle linebacker clips of whoever left us the comment about the dude from Ohio State and the dude from Texas, the middle linebackers. I'm
Anthony
like,
Hill.
that'd be nice. They could have them.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't think the Steelers should. They definitely, I don't think, should draft any outside edge rushers. Not this offseason. Can't do it.
I mean, you take someone in the 4th round. I don't care.
No. Brown, At the very least, we can see Howard in the preseason as long as he stays healthy for sure. And I'm very excited to see him throw a football. I'm very excited to see what Will Howard can do throwing a football, especially in some NFL action. Hoosier Tucker, why is everyone going to think if Mike McCarthy has a good why is everyone going to think if Mike McCarthy has a good season? Yeah, what is everyone going to think if Mike McCarthy has a good season? Are they still going to crap on him? No, it's over. And then Art Rooney will sit there in his demon lair and be like, I told you all that eventually you would love Mike McCarthy. We're not here to win a press conference.
We don't care about it. We just win on the field.
That's what'll happen. And you know what?
As they lose wild card weekend.
Yeah. Shout out to Art Rooney. You know what I mean? Shout out to Art Rooney. Duff, any chance DK switches to 14 next year before I make my new Chinese jersey order? See, Duff knows where to buy the jerseys. I'd wait. I would wait until the new league year starts March 11th. You have to change it by March 11th. So I would wait. I would hold off because you never know. You really never know.
Yeah. Get both if you're in a rush.
Yeah, they're half price. Who cares? Dan, what are the odds that we hire lots of coaches so we're on par with the rest of the league? I have heard that the Steelers are going to expand their coaching staff, which is huge because I think that they very much so need to expand their coaching staff. So that's what I've heard.
Agreed.
You know, will they follow through? I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I have heard that that's going to happen. They hired Jason Simmons, who's just a senior defensive assistant, which I think immediately adds another piece that they didn't have. So it does look, early signs are positive for sure. Brian Gallagher, what position will the Steelers ultimately pick in round 1 this year? I think it's going to be a wide receiver. And I stay pretty leaning towards a wide receiver.
I think wide receiver is the best bet. I'm not 100% locked in on it. I do think something like a safety, I think a defensive tackle is also in the mix, but I'd say it's like 75% wide receiver, 5% D tackle, 5% safety, 5% quarterback, 5% any other position.
Yeah,
I think that's
like
100%.
I think that's 100%. I think it's close. All right, we'll do some speed rounds here. We do have to head out a little bit earlier than we usually do, but we'll get some out of here. P and W Mike, if we let Queen go, let's get Bobby Wagner. No, you want to know who was the name that we were after yesterday? Who was the name that we sat there and we were like, oh my gosh. Oh, Quay Walker. Go get Quay Walker. Go get Nakobe Dean. You'll save $13 million and you can hand it all to either one of those guys and say, there you go. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Your new teammate is Peyton Wilson. Have fun. Here's Maxx Crosby. He just got here too. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Wagner would be cool, but I think it'd just be cool because I want to see how long Bobby Wagner can go. Can you go to 100? Can it happen? Dylan, hear me out. Trade Watt for CD Lamb. I think the value actually is pretty equal there. It's crazy. It sounds like I think a year ago I'd tell you that you're losing that trade. I think now you're not losing it. I don't know if you're winning anything, but you're not losing it.
I have no desire for the Mike McCarthy reunion tour to include actual active former players.
Wow, forgot that he played for him. I'd love it. Lance, would you flip Herbig in a first for Crosby? No chance.
Rather sit on my testicles back.
No chance. Nope. I wouldn't even put Herbig on the plate. I wouldn't put a first there either. I wouldn't do it. Drink Keystone Light. How do I get your email if I send a logo? Go to the members page, and it should have an email there where you could send your email with your phone number and everything. Just use that email, send it to me. I'll check it out. Pittsburgh Hornets, I also got yours too. I'll be emailing you a little bit later today, my friend. Maddie, give a few reasons why Aaron should be back. I think the easy reason is
from me.
Yeah, Jacob doesn't have one. I'll say it's because the Steelers are going to load up everywhere, and Aaron should come back and see what happens. I think they shouldn't, but if I'm the Steelers trying to convince Aaron, we're going to draft a wide receiver in round 1. Have fun. And it's not MVS. Hartsky, trade TJ to Washington for their first round pick and Scary Terry.
If you could get it, sure. You'd never get it. You'd never get it.
No, but it would be awesome. But TJ's worth maybe Scary Terry 1-for-1. Let's finish it off with Remington. You guys should watch Hail Mary Sports or Brashmo for mock drafts and analysis. And NFL Stock Exchange Steelers Fix Your Franchise goes in depth. It's good to know. Thank you.
Only thing I trust are these two peepers.
These two peepers.
That's where all your analysis comes from when it comes to Jacob Puntori. It is from me doing the work.
That is true. Jacob is, and it's from me listening to Jacob and then I get lost down rabbit holes. My ability
Shout out those people though.
Yeah. My ability to do scouting is tough because I start somewhere and I end up so deep down the rabbit hole. It's crazy. I'm just like, did you know that this guy who played with him in 6th grade was born in Montana from a bear? He was born from a bear.
His dad's a literal friggin' bear.
Yeah. Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? Crazy. It's a good time. It's a good time. All right. With that said, y'all, we're heading out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. Hit that like and subscribe button before you head out of here. And Jacob's Puntori playbook will be out tomorrow morning because YouTube had a little bit of an accident today and didn't want to let us put it out today. Check that out when it drops. Until then, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.